Morning guys, how's it going today? Today is August 11th, it's Monday. Mowed some hay down over the weekend and my pap mowed some on Friday. Gotta try to get that baled up today. Gotta get the tractor and baler ready to roll. Pap already took off to the field to start raking. Let him get some raked up before I head down there. But Dad's on his way over to get some belts fixed for this baler. So about a month ago, we put all new 6 belts on this thing because we had trouble with them tearing out the laces, just pulling the laces right out of them. And I mean, the belts were starting to get in rough shape, so we're like, why not, just put 6 on and be done. Well, that didn't work too well. We baled, I don't know if they would have even had 100 bale on them, and we were baling dry hay here last week. Had 3 of them break. Brand new belts, had 3 of them break. It's just like crazy. I have no clue why that's happening. Baling dry hay. Dry hay should be a lot easier on a baler than what your wet hay would be. We bale more wet hay than we do dry hay and have less trouble baling wet hay than we do the dry. It just doesn't make a least bit of sense at all. So I have no clue what's going on. This baler doesn't have any settings for tension or anything like that, so that's not a problem. Nothing was ever touched or changed since we got the baler. It has over 20,000 bales on it, so yes, the baler has seen better days, but that shouldn't be a problem. This belt here, I mean, they look alright. All the belts look fine. Then you'll be just going along and they tear. Then they get wrapped up in the rolls inside the baler, so you have to come back and get tools to tear the baler apart to get the belts out. It's just been a pain lately, but I gotta get it pulled outside. Gotta check fuel in the tractor. I think it might need some fuel. All the chains up should blow all the chaff off of the baler. And we did get fire extinguishers for all the tractors. The problem is, I'll just say it, I probably shouldn't, but Amazon, you would think, it says mount included. Nope, didn't come with the fire extinguisher mount. So this part here, right here, had to get 3 more of them, a fire extinguisher for each tractor. Just so happened to have a fire extinguisher here in the shop that was not charged, but it had a mount on it. So I might try to get that mounted up in here quick. If not, I'll strap it in here somehow, because I don't want that thing rolling around, but I do want it when I'm baling because it's been really dry and can't be without a fire extinguisher because this one here on the baler is empty. But having extinguishers in all the tractors are gotta be a must, because if you're out in the field and fire comes up, you at least have something to try to put it out. They're 5-pounder fire extinguishers, the ABC rated. They're good ones. They weren't cheap, but cheaper than replacing one of these tractors as far as that goes if a fire does happen to come up. Which lately, I don't know why, it seems like there's more and more tractor fires than there ever used to be. We had there's a local tractor burnt on the corn planter this spring. Just very unfortunate. It does happen. I think a lot of times the wiring harnesses get rubbed through somewhere, and then you got oil or grease or dust and all that stuff just perfect to make a fire. If it starts arcing somewhere on a wiring harness or something like that, which is what happened to our 5140. Filters are blowed out, baler's blowed off, oil on the chains, got the fire extinguisher mounted. I think that'll be alright right there. It might not be the straightest where it's at, but I think that'll be alright. I would have liked to mount it here, but they got the operator's manual there. And over on this side, you know, you're getting in and out, so I don't want it there. Over here, it's out of the road, and it's sitting, it's visible, you know, you can see it, and it's good and sturdy.
Broke her belt. Luckily I got it shut off in time, and it's one of the belts that we just put on here. Laces are tearing out, tore out on one side, working on tearing out the other. I shot her down before it got wrapped up in the bale and got wrapped up in the rolls, because the monitor has those there bars that the height of the bale on each side, so you keep your bale even while the one side dropped clear down, and I knew right then and there what happened. So I'll probably pull this out. and we'll head to the farm and get ourselves another belt, I suppose. The joys are on a John Deere round baler. Got this belt rolled up here. It had a piece added to it at one time to make it fit, get it fixed up, because they have to be a certain length or else they'll stretch and they'll break the laces out. So we'll head up to the farm and get a new belt strung on this. You guys want to help me roll this bale out? Thanks for all the help. It's a little bit of a workout. That bale's pretty heavy. That stuff's still a little wetter than I figured it would be, but I'm sure she's dry now. It plugged on me, which no clue why, because I wasn't even in the heaviest part of that bale there yet. Plugged up tight, and the bale, for whatever reason, the little bale that's in there, decided it's not coming out. Back to the farm we go. I have to use a skid loader to take the bale out of the baler. Never usually have that trouble. Usually you jerk the tractor around a couple times and it'll roll out, but that thing's in there tight. I can't move it. We're back at her again. Dad and I got the baler unplugged. I could unplug it here in the field, but the problem was that bale was stuck in there and just couldn't get it to budge. So he stopped on his way up load with a load of bales and helped me unplug it. It wasn't plugged too bad. It usually doesn't plug too bad with this kind of hay, but if it's if it's real wet, sometimes if it's real dry too, and it gets good and packed in there, then you're in trouble. If it's long and stringy, that's a pain to work on that, but this wasn't too bad. My aunt made us cheeseburgers, and Dad brought them down to the field. These two fawns here, I don't know, they might have been last year's fawns. They look pretty big to be this year's, but usually you see sometimes fawns will stick together, like the offsprings will stick together throughout a whole year. You see them around the farm and that, usually two of them together like that. But lunch in the field, you just can't beat it. It's always better in the field. Got all of our alfalfa for the cows baled, all the stuff they're gonna wrap. Now there's two pieces over here at the farm I was at this morning. There's two strips of alfalfa here, and then there's a strip of grass hay we call the three-corner piece. It's a triangular piece between the strip of corn here and then the strip of alfalfa. The lower strip of alfalfa wasn't very good for the third cutting. It's mostly just weeds and orchard grass. This upper strip here had a good bit of alfalfa in it, so we baled it. We gotta wrap it for the cows. But that piece down there, we gotta dry bale that for the heifers, and then we gotta dry bale this grass hay here for the heifers. My mic died from my camera, so if you guys can't hear me that well, it's because I'm not using my mic. But I didn't bring the other one along, so don't have too much of a choice. But this grass hay here was pretty nice. It's kind of a, I don't know, it's a wetter laying field down there at the bottom, but it must have plenty of moisture. I think we made this a little earlier than the other grass hay, because the other grass hay wasn't very good. Across the road, made that for the calves this week here. Pap and Dad did, and it wasn't very tall, but it still made nice hay for the calves. This here made a pretty big windrow, so it ought to add up pretty good, I would think. Last fill we got is a hill there behind the shed. I'll let somebody else bale that. That's a little too steep for my liking, so it if I had to, but I imagine Dad will bale it. We're knowing her anyway, taking her easy. Couldn't have picked a better place to change net wrap. Had to wait till we're out on the steepest part of the farm to run out, but that's how she goes. I just realized I put this in upside down earlier, so that makes my life even better. Later on in the week here, we got the hay all done. That was the rest of our third cutting. We got fourth cutting. It'll be coming on maybe next week. I don't know yet, depending on the weather. We did get a little bit of rain. We got about 6/10 total. Over the past 2 days we had a couple heavy rains, but it didn't add up too much, but a little bit helps. A bunch of heifers home today, and I was just pushing some unwanted trees back along tree lines. Now it's time to milk, and we got to film some of that. We're milking here now. Milkers are on the second side. I I apologize if you can't hear me too well. You're not going to be able to hear me out in the barn because of the fans. You gotta have the fans on to keep the cows cool. But we always bring 16 cows in. That's how many stalls the parlor has. We have 8 units, so we milk every other cow. We put them on the right side of the milker. The cows on the right side of the milker first. And when they get done, we switch them over to the cows on the left side. And then as they're milking, we post-dip them, ship them out, and bring new in, and just keep switching back and forth on each side of the milker. If you're new here, otherwise you probably know how we milk. I know I don't show it very often, but I still milk as often as I always have. Milk just about every milking, but 2 milking during the week. In the morning I get off, but that's about it. The milk comes through the pipeline here, comes through this plate cooler. This plate cooler chills the milk. So it's got cold water running in through here, and then the warm water runs out into the water trough, and then the cows drink it, so it gets recycled. It's not like it doesn't get used or anything. It doesn't get wasted. But it comes through this filter first. There's a filter in here, through the plate cooler, and then from there it goes over to the tank. The tank's insulated, and it has a cooler. So once we get the milkers on the second side, turn the tank on after there's some milk in the tank. Otherwise, your milk's going to freeze in there, and you're going to get ice. And that'll mess with your count, and then you'll just have problems. So you always got to wait till you have some milk in the tank before you kick the compressors on and start pulling. But yeah, other than that, pretty simple. Get back out here in the barn and keep milking away.